Intelligence, where we decode the future of AI, one story, one use case, and one bold idea at a time. I'm your host, Barlas Yuce, inviting you to join me and industry leaders as we explore how artificial intelligence is reshaping our world from the boardroom to the classroom and beyond. Now, whether you're an innovator, a skeptic, or just AI curious, this is your front row seat to the real conversations and practical insights behind the buzzwords. Let's paint a bigger picture together. Hello, today we have Paul. Hi, Paul, how are you?
Barlas, good afternoon. I'm doing well, and you?
Fantastic. So, to give our listeners a little bit of a background on Paul, today's guest is Paul Banco, an accomplished entrepreneur and technologist based in New Jersey. Paul is the CEO and co-founder of EtherFax, a company at the forefront of secure document delivery and cloud-based communication solutions. Under his visionary leadership, EtherFax has transformed how organizations manage and transmit sensitive documents, setting new standards for security, efficiency in the telecom and healthcare sectors. Paul is also an inventor with multiple patents to his name and demonstrates a relentless drive for practical innovation. Is that it, Paul, or is there more?
One more to add. I'm also the president and co-founder of a company called Weave Cloud Solution, which is an intelligent document processing AI platform primarily built for the healthcare vertical. So somewhat of a new venture.
We're definitely going to learn a lot more about that. But first, tell me the answer to this question. It's the same question we ask everybody that comes on this show. If you could have one job, any job in the world for 12 months, what would it be and why?
I'll tell you, and I don't know if you consider, your definition of a job, paying or non-paying, but I would love to just do philanthropy for, a full year of just helping, children especially, or just the less fortunate. EtherFax does have a corporate social responsibility page, and we've done a lot of work from supporting, various, orphanages out in the Philippines. We've built an entire filtration system in Kenya. So I really love that work. I think, I would love to just do that for a full year, just touring over the entire world.
That sounds wonderful. Yeah, great job if you could do it. I would love to do that myself. Great answer. So, Paul, tell me a little bit about yourself. We know about what we talked about in the summary with Ether. Can you give us a little background on how you came up with this company and how it all came together?
Yeah. Back in the Y2K era, I was the one of the lead engineers at Merrill Lynch, and we were responsible for obviously getting our systems ready from the transition from, over to the, Y2K year 2000. One of the projects that we had was, everything back then, all the trades were confirmed via fax. So one of my charters was, well, we need an enterprise fax server, worldwide, which contained like ML Japan, ML Australia, ML New York, all of them. So I chartered that. Fast forward, my tenure ended at Merrill Lynch. I opened up my own professional services firm, and I happened to just start reselling fax server solutions and technology solutions, computer systems and things of that sort. So I partnered up with one of the founders of the company. His name is Tom Linhart. He's the CEO of FaxCore, and we were sitting in his office one day, and I said, hey, I kind of got this idea, and we kind of, did some napkin architecture, and we said, well, why don't we start transitioning this stuff to the cloud? And here we are, decades later, almost 2 decades later, and we have a really, really nice, successful business. There's actually 3 co-founders to the organization.
Which co-founder are you? The technical guy, the pretty guy, or the money guy?
I'm more of the visionary guy. We have our technical guy whose name is Rob Chickalo, and then we have the money guy whose name is Tom Linhart. So we each bring a very unique feature set to the organization, and it just runs like a well-oiled machine.
Um,
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the new venture, the AI venture with healthcare.
Well, we actually have, so there's two things here. We actually saw the need for AI. AI is great at doing a lot of things, especially when it comes to healthcare and summarization, right? We're not using AI to diagnose and build treatment plans, although it could be used for that, and I'll tell you a story around that. But we actually built that into EtherFax, and then we found the need, our customers were coming to us and, saying, this is great, but we need more of a workflow type application that gets our documents, comes in, we could extract the data, put it into our Epic system, our Cerner system, without having to keystroke all of this information in. Because on average, it takes somebody anywhere between, a fast typer, 10 to 20 minutes to get all of this information into the EMR. So we built a platform utilizing AI that looks at all of this unstructured data and then automatically ingests it or exports it into the EMR, just saving the clinicians or who's ever at the helm there sitting at the desk countless hours.
Sounds excellent.
Yeah.
This seems like it would be a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't every hospital and clinic and every company that has any kind of medical intake or emergencies, why wouldn't they use that? Like, is that something that you guys have really been pushing for a long time? Or
Yeah, absolutely. You hear, I mean, I gotta say, like I'm so happy to be alive, and not just because of the reasons of being alive, but all the technological advances that AI has done for us. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Yes, you would think it's a no-brainer, and people are like, "Oh, AI is taking away jobs." We have to evolve as a civilization. I mean, were we worried about the elevator operators that now elevators are autonomous, right? I mean, and I don't think this is a real quote, but it's been said. Henry Ford said, "If I listened to my customers, I would have invented faster horses," right? I mean, would you get into the plane that the Wright brothers first flew? Absolutely not, right? And I mean, we are just the innovation that's coming out of this country is just absolutely insane. So we're not about taking jobs. We're just about making you more efficient. And every hospital organization is turning towards AI, whether it's for intake and for diagnosis. Quite frankly, I was at a New Jersey HIMSS event not too long ago, and there was a doctor that got up there and said, we use AI every day. It is the equivalent of one doctor seeing 200 million patients over a 20-year period. We now have access to this information within seconds. It, yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I'm going to
So,
have to introduce you to Leslie Cook Ramirez. Leslie, if you're listening to this, pay attention. Leslie Cook is in charge of HCLS in at AWS for partners. So we need to
okay.
get you guys together. She's definitely someone that can make sure to
Well, we are an AWS customer, so
even better,
all of our federal stuff is within AWS GovCloud. So, yes.
even better. That's wonderful. Can you give us a little rundown of maybe a process of how AI is working inside your world in the new startup? Maybe give one process where it helped the company or saved the company money or time, and
Yeah, no,
and then
absolutely. Absolutely, and I experienced this firsthand, and I have two elder parents, right? I'm like in what they call sandwich parenting right now, right? And my father was admitted to a facility called Care One, and I had to go in there and sit in the admissions room, and I filled out all of this paperwork and I handed it to the clinician, and then she basically took everything that I wrote and now she's entering it into the screen, and I was in there for 30 minutes. And of course, my entrepreneurial hat came on and said, I could have that done for you in seconds. And imagine if I can do it with one patient. Imagine how quick you'll be able to get all this information in, delivering a better experience to not only the family But what about the actual patient? Let's get to, let's start to getting, patient care coordination, and let's start treating them. Needless to say, not in that facility, but in another facility, we did just that, right? And you start talking to these, whether they're clinicians, administrators, and you try to take this application away, it's you would think that we're cutting their hands off. They're like, absolutely not. Like, this has made us so much more efficient. We have less errors. We're getting to our patients quick. We're answering referrals quicker. Our billing, our rev cycle, it has just made the world a better place, not only for them, but for the patient and for the patient's family like myself. So, and this is a systemic problem throughout the entire industry, 100%. So, we're helping solve that bottleneck in the workflow.
That's fantastic. Just my entrepreneurial hat comes on. This would work great if you, one, added physical products to being able to put this into a doctor's office and say, hey, look, I'm going to create this iPad on a stand. All they have to do is go to a customer, it goes in, da, 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 da. Now you got the software and the hardware. And then the next step that in my brain, would be CVS and Walgreens, and getting every CVS and every Walgreens to be able to come in and do an intake form for all of those elderly folks that come in to get their shots, see the pharmacist, get a consultation. Now,
Yeah.
that would be a huge scale. Every CVS, every Walgreens, that would be pretty awesome.
Well, that's the problem in the industry, and it's referred to as interoperability, right? Who owns your patient record, right? Barlas, you go into the doctor, who owns it? Does Epic own it? Does the hospital own it? And there's laws around patient sharing, and there's agreements, but the issue is, and we're trying to do better at it, is there is really not a tremendous amount of interoperability between systems, right? One patient, one EMR may call it an encounter, the other one may call it a visit, right? How do you map these thousands of fields? And this is why fax is alive today. It's the least common denominator. I refer to the fax as the cockroach of technology. It's simple, it works, it's secure, you can get a document from point A to point B. And this is why 75% of all healthcare communications or healthcare, data is still transmitted via fax.
Because it's easier, less
It's easy.
hassle.
Everybody's got it, least common denominator.
And you have the fax business, and hopefully you can bring that over to your AI business. Is
That's
that
the
the goal?
plan. That is the plan. There's your entrepreneurial hat.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How is the legislation keeping up with? Is this something that you guys have had to worry about at all with AI in legislation coming to HIPAA concerns and things like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, 100%. It's, responsible AI, right? There's no doubt in our world, because we're not using AI to diagnose and we're just using it for summarization. There's a little bit more leeway. That doesn't mean that, we can't just go willy-nilly out over the internet. Things have to be secure. We're high trust certified, we're FedRAMP certified, we're PCI certified. We have governing control. So, regardless of what the government says, we always treat every single document. We have no idea what flows through our network, but we always treat it as secure. So there are a lot of regulations around HIPAA. I mean, HIPAA is a guideline. There are organizations like High Trust and PCI on the financial side and credit card side that are actually organizations that hold you to standards. So there's a lot, and it's nice to see that the leaders, the Elon Musks of the world, right? The Altmans, the Bezos, the Gates, everything. All of these leaders are coming together to try and form a responsible AI architecture, if you will.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Any plans to get into what we were talking, or what I was talking about with the hardware and the software, or are you just guys going to stay just in the
Well,
software side?
We're really good at what we do. I mean, we're inventors, we're software engineers. We'll probably just stick on the software side of things. I mean, hey, listen, my crystal ball's broken. Who knows, what we'll get into, but I could tell you right now, the 5-year plan of the company is really just to make the workflow side of things more efficient.
It's fantastic. Can you give us an example of what you feel this particular industry is going to look like in the 5 years? Like how do you envision this company being 5 years from now?
Um, yeah, no, that's great. First of all, I hope highly successful.
Of course, it's definitely going
What
to be that.
Yeah, I mean, we are generally at the forefront of innovation. Our CTO, our development team, we're very agile, so we're generally at the forefront of innovation, and we really look at ways to make people's lives easier and more efficient, less errors. I think you're going to see both of these organizations within the next 5 years just really continue to excel and evolve, listening to our customers' needs and giving them what they need. I see both organizations as the hub and the plumbing to get a document securely from point A to point B with some information about that document, whether it's classification. I mean, perfect example, Barlas. Let's just say, I don't know, you go to a doctor and your blood results get faxed back, right? And your blood results are now in with 1,000 in the queue of 1,000 other blood result tests that just came back. But wouldn't it be nice if AI had the ability to go in there and flag something that says, "Hey guys, you need to look at Barlas's blood work like right now. I can't wait 3 days for you to look at this because there's something serious here." That's where AI is really coming into play in our world. I mean, it's got so many great uses, but
Sure.
that's just in our world.
Triage,
Yeah.
AI triage. What a great thought, great concept. Any thought to the responsibility of like an AI triage, putting like I don't know, the movie I Robot, making somebody who is maybe a 50%, but a child at 20%, and prioritizing the 50% over the 20%. Is that something you can talk to, or is that just too out there?
When you say make the child fit, maybe just expand a little bit more. Are you talking?
So in and I love movies, and Will Smith movies are some of my favorites. But in the movie I Robot, the robot or the AI decided to save Will Smith, even though he could come out of this car that was in the water by
Mhm.
himself, instead of saving the 10-year-old girl who had a 30% chance of saving. And so he saved the adult that probably could have saved himself.
Right.
Is prioritization and empathy something that you feel like this AI triage with your documents will be added to it, or is this something that
Well,
we
yeah,
can't add?
I mean, it absolutely could, and the beauty of our product is you have the ability to program that through prompt engineering. Let's talk about this a little bit differently because I think really what you're referring to is like agentic AI or sentient. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's where everybody probably heard the term Elon Musk says, well, my new version 14 of full self-driving is sentient like, right? It's human like and agentic AI, right? I mean, it has all of those capabilities, right? Autonomy, decision making, learning and adoption, and goal oriented action. And a lot of people are afraid of that. You're a big movie buff, right? I mean, I think, and I can't wait. I mean, you look at some of the things that, and I keep touting Musk because I think the guy is just an absolute mad genius, right? Where he's going to have quadriplegics walking again. But let's look at Matrix when Neo went into the fight scene and they uploaded the Kung Fu program, and within 5 minutes he knew Kung Fu. Or when Trinity walked up to the helicopter and said, "Tank, I need to learn how to fly this thing." And 3 seconds later, she was a pilot. I mean, when you think about that, I mean, we're not too far from that. And I'm excited about that. And there's a lot of people like, "Oh, what's AI? It's making people dumb and this and that." And listen, you could argue that AI is probably, probably a huge contributor to critical thinking, and we as humans are doing less of it because we have all the information at our fingertips like that. My kids, my one daughter's in college, and I tell her all the time, I'm like, you know what? I don't mind that you use it, because before you would have broke out in my day an Encyclopedia Britannica, right? And then we had Google. Now all this information is at our fingertips, summarized. So it's exciting. We own 5 Teslas. I use full self-driving all the time. I love the AI technology in it. It gets better every single day. I'm really excited for what the future. I mean, we're catching rocket ships on chopsticks. Like, come on. Did you ever think in your lifetime you would ever once see a reusable rocket? It's believable. But man, we're catching a rocket booster that's 400 feet tall on a set of chopsticks. Like, come on.
You're so
That's
right. I
awesome.
never thought of it like that. Yeah, that's
So
fantastic.
awesome.
We're definitely living in the future. And I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot, especially in healthcare, and me coming from Canada, especially in healthcare, there's a lot to be done with AI. And I'm very, very appreciative of the line that you're taking and which way you're going. Um, Let me ask you this question, just to take a little bit of a different change to the type of questioning. Other entrepreneurs, like you have been in the startup of 2 companies now. I have started like 3 or 4 companies. None of them have been as successful as your 2 companies that you're having right now. It's tough to be a founder. There's a lot of things that go on. Can you give us a little advice to startup founders on what you think they should be focusing on when it comes to their companies and AI in general?
Yeah. Yeah. So first and foremost, fail fast. Don't continue to throw good money at a bad idea. And in order to learn, you have to fail. Um, it's in terms of AI, I think it's going to open up a tremendous amount of opportunity for brand new investors. I think they can do more with less. Also know your capabilities of what you're, like I'm not an HR guy, right? Like I would never want to take on HR. Know your personnel really well and make sure you get the right individuals on the bus, right? And the wrong individuals off the bus, and surround yourself with the right people, right? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. When and be prepared to not pay yourself for the first 2 or 3 years, because
Yeah.
that's what you look from us. Have a great idea, um, but be true to yourself. Understand the market, understand the opportunity, understand how much you can capture, have reachable goals. Don't say, "I want to be $20 million in 2 years." It's just not going to happen. Have obtainable goals and milestones and measure your success and your failures along the way. That's what I would give to any entrepreneur right now. But I would also say, listen, entrepreneurs, we're a special breed. I mean, we are risk takers. We are willing to put anything and everything into the business. It's our business. It's our blood, sweat, and tears. You have to make sure that you are, number one, in a position to do this. Number two, you have what it takes, because you're not going to be working 20, 30 hours a week. You're going to be working 50, 60 hours a week. So you have to make sure that you're ready for that before getting into any business. That's what I would give. I do several talks around this, and a lot of people ask that same question. Everybody looks at, oh, you know what, Paul, you work 20 hours a week and you're always on vacations and you're always touring the world. Yeah, but you didn't remember the time for the first 7 years where I worked 80 hours a week and I didn't take a single dime.
Yep. That's
So
that's the old adage, work like nobody wants to for a couple years so you can live like everybody wants to for the rest of your life.
100%.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question. This is the question that everyone's waiting for. What is a unique AI use case that you have seen in the past, either you've done or you've seen somebody else do, or something that you're currently doing right now or have seen a friend do, or what you would like to see in the future?
Let me, and I don't know if this is unique, but my wife Rachel is an equestrian rider, as well as all of my daughters. So, thank you, Wallet. Um, my wife had fallen off of her horse during a competition more than once and really jacked up her ankle. And she got the MRI results and took the MRI results with the report and actually threw them into ChatGPT. And ChatGPT, not only did it come back with a diagnosis, it came back with a treatment plan. And it went, it was, I was like, this is phenomenal. And it gave her like a diagram of exactly what was wrong with her ankle. These are the tendons. This is what it's going to take. She's like, can I still play pickleball? And ChatGPT's like, no. Can I still ride horses? No, not really. And it explained everything to her in a way that she was able to relate with. She then took this information, went to her doctor, all right, and her doctor somewhat gave her the same advice, the same treatment plan, and she's like, "Hey doc, I just want to let you know this is what I did." And the doctor's like, "Wow, I'm going to be out of a job soon." My wife's like, "No, you're not. Trust me, you got a long time. Don't worry. I don't want no robot operating on me." But it's nice to see, that you guys are number one, at least aligned. But I have a way better understanding because let's face it, not all doctors are great in explaining what you have and how you do it. Sometimes you can't even understand half of them. I can't understand any of their writing.
Absolutely.
Right. So, I mean, that was just, I mean, that was phenomenal. I was like, wow, that is just absolutely amazing. There was like I'm a big Grok user, and Grok has Grok Doc on there. Um, and I was recently on a plane, and I was a former EMT, but it was like 30 years ago. I don't remember half this stuff, and somebody was having a seizure. I went really quick to Grok Doc. What do I do for someone having a seizure? Within 4 seconds, it said, just do this. And we were able to administer help to this poor individual. I mean, I had a doctor access on what would happen before? 911. You got to wait 15 minutes for somebody to get there. So these are just, I mean, all of the unbelievable use cases that AI is bringing to the table today. And it's exciting.
It is exciting. That is excellent. Wow.
Yeah.
You give a great use case. My wife is very similar in the fact that she goes to Grok, but she goes to Grok for a lot of things, for diagnosis. And she's diagnosed a lot of things that many doctors kind of miss. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of doctors that are overworked and they might not know all of the things. But like you said, AI is 200 doctors with 1,000 years of experience all rolled into one when answering and getting questions answered.
When we were at this event, one of the CIOs for a major hospital out here in New Jersey said, "We are reevaluating all of our vendors, and if our vendor does not have an AI play, they will no longer be a vendor." Yeah, yeah, and people are like people are like, "Oh, you want that doctor that used AI to pass the test?" And I'm probably like, you know what? I think I do. you
Yeah.
know. I mean, I think every doctor now for really complex, maybe even non-complex. I mean, I have friends that are doctors that are using AI like every single day. And it's more just to check themselves, but it's also, hey, maybe there's something out there that, like you said, that I missed that I need to look at. Why not use it?
Well, in this, especially in the United States, where there's such a litigious society, and the U.S. courts are used to check people right, right. You get a lawsuit, and then policies change. But if you, as a doctor, want your insurance premiums to go down, make sure that you make no mistakes, and by checking every diagnosis you make with Grok or ChatGPT, or I use Perplexity Pro, uh,
Hmm.
you could then go, look, I've checked everything. Here's what it should. We looked, we did this, we did this, we did this, and it's all documented. So it
Right.
worked out really well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I 100% agree. 100% agree.
So, Paul, we're coming to the end of the show. Before I let you go, I have a question about what are you doing next with your company right now, with both of your companies. Are you going to be at any events? Are you going to have any webinars? Someone that throws parties that you want to invite a bunch of people to? This is your time to do that invite.
All of the above. You have to look at our events page. I mean, the one we have our partner event coming up, open to our partners. But I think the next event, which is our largest event, is the National Hymn Show out in Las Vegas. Usually, it's between Las Vegas, Orlando, and sometimes Chicago. But this one's out in Las Vegas. There's 40,000 attendees coming. Both of the companies that I'm with will be represented, and we'll be showing all the new technology that's out there. And it's a great show. I mean, a lot of healthcare systems, the epics of the world, the Cerners of the governments out there. Everybody in the healthcare field is out there. So that's our next major show coming up. Outside of our partner event and holiday party.
Thank you very much for everything that we've information today. You're always welcome back. And thanks for joining this episode of The Art of Intelligence, folks. Today's discussion offered a deep dive into the world of AI driven innovation, leadership, secure digital communications. Hearing firsthand about challenges and breakthroughs shaping the future gives us all new perspectives as technology continues to transfer every facet of our business and daily lives, and as you heard today, our healthcare lives. And if you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, share the show with your friends and colleagues, and don't forget to leave us a review to help discover the art of intelligence. For more insights, resources, and upcoming episodes, follow us on our favorite podcast platform and connect with us on LinkedIn. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and continue exploring the art and intelligence behind today's most impactful innovation with AI.
Thanks, everyone.